The 20th round of the season, and we have arrived in Chile with Revo on pole with fellow champion UK Ball alongside, and then it's Ica World and Oscar Falstad. Catfish starts 5th from Remy LeBeau and Daniel Bogdasarov, and it's Marcus Nelson, Zach Wallace, Daph Sanchez, and Tonelli Gabo in 11th. Pierre Gasly starts 12th from Lawrence Leclerc and Sebastian Ocampo. Then it's Oration, Xavier Kubica, the Red Devil, Arnett Bevenis Jr., Pablo Sierra, Cosmas Medicis, Scotland Rotak, and Verstio. The 20th race out of 23, two champions on the front row as Revo goes for the championship lead. All 5 lights have gone on. And we are underway here in Santiago. Very good start from most of the field, all converging into one, heading down into turn number 1. But there's going to be a lot of bumps along the way around this track built on the Chilean hillside. UK Ball's going to have the inside line and takes the lead in front of the Italian. Ica holding on to 3rd by a thread. As you can see, forced to the outside was the man who's gunning for the championship this season. The number 7 behind the 89, as if they were both driving for Next TV and this was season 1, and they have streaked away from the field. Catfish getting a track limits warning. He's trying to go for the championship this season as well in the dying moments. And he's on the back of a champion in Oscar Falstad, who around this part of season 18, if you can remember, that's when he really started his championship challenge. The Red Devil getting a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. That'll be served in the pits, but considering he started this race as one of the 2 drivers on the hards, well, that's going to be quite a while until he's going to have to serve that, so you can dwell on that for a while. Wallace and Remy LeBeau finding over 6. That fight has effectively ended as we head on to the second of 14 laps around this track here in Santiago. On board with Falstad, side by side they go. That should be 3rd. Revo trying to get 2nd. Trying to get the lead away from UK Ball, who has the fastest lap by virtue of leading on lap 1. But he just doesn't have it yet. Still on board with Falstad as UK Ball sets the fastest first sector of anyone, and Revo hopping over the curb. We were lucky to make it through the opening lap without any major incidents as IBJ with a track limits warning, his first of the day. On board we go with Revo. Attack mode is available, and I'm pretty sure it's only available on the main straight, which makes sense because that thing is long as hell. And Revo's still closing in with all he's got on lap 2 of 14. Heading down onto that main straight, you can see the rear wing opened up for the DS, the Cheetah driver. He's closing in, pulls to the inside. He's getting ever closer, 102, 102.5. Revo taking the lead as Kubica sets the fastest lap. And UK Ball just really didn't seem like he had an answer for him. He's dropped 2 tenths off the back, and Ica's actually closing in. You can see right there, UK Ball still looking to try and go around the outside and taking the lead away from the Italian in the most British way possible. It's like he stabbed him with a knife to get himself up into the lead there, because he's dropped him by half a second. Still within attack mode range is Bevenis Jr. getting a track limits warning. Gets 2 more of those and that's going to be a penalty. Scotland Rotak has dropped off the face of the earth, 4 whole seconds behind Verstio. Cosmas Medicis staying within the pack is actually quite incredible. And you can see on those softs a little bit of blistering beginning to form. Side by side go Ica and Revo, but no real movement for the Angolan as into the lead goes Revo. He's still got attack mode heading down into turn number 1. He's pulled away from UK Ball, who's about to get past and does get passed by Ica World immediately. So now the Briton, who started this race 2nd on the grid, he's got a mountain to climb if he's to reclaim the race lead. He's hopping over the curbs. He's probably changing some minor things with a brake bias, just trying to find the sweet spot to try and go after Ica and Revo. The Red Devil setting a fastest first sector in 19th position. Catfish. Oh, that's the wall. Falstad has had enough. He's in the wall, and he's been hit by. Yes, that's Bogdasarov who's hit him. He's dropped all the way down the order. And UK Ball, we saw, got a track limits warning And here comes Cosmas! Oh! That's Scuttle Rosak, rather! And there's not a puncture for Falstad, but he is out of this race, and a full course yellow has been called. And Scuttling with major damage. I don't know how that happened. I'm genuinely confused as to the reason for that incident, as Sanchez comes in, making the most of this opportunity. Gasly following him into the pits with Cosmas Medicis, and I do expect Scuttle and Rosak to come in too as we get back underway here in Chile. That's allowed Catfish to move up into fourth. You know, for the Malaysian, he started the season so well. He needs a very good end game if he's to take his first championship in his career. As the Red Devil track limits warning further back, Ica World closing in on the three-time World Drivers' Champion. He's in front of the reigning Drivers' Champion. Tries to go around the outside of him. He's done it. Ica takes the lead in front of the man favorite to win the championship. That Trackhouse number 8 car, it's like a magic 8 ball. It always seems to produce tricks as the top 4 all come into the pits. It's a race in pit lane as Zach Wallace starts lap number 5. Medium tires going on for Revo. Wasn't held too long, so he should be able to come out of the pits quite quickly. U-Cable will be the last one to have his stop served. Catfish comes out just alongside Revo, so he should actually be closer. And in fact, oh, that's U-Cable. U-Cable's jumped them in the pits. So as they come out of the pits, it's U-Cable from Ica and Revo, then Catfish. Those are the 4 coming out of the pits now. And Ica's on the hards. He's going to be swamped by the medium boys behind him. The Red Devil's got 10 seconds worth of time penalties close to the back of Ray Shen for a second there. On board with Pablo Sierras, he's watching the 3 in front of him, including Verstio. Fighting over 8th position. The soft tyres at this point absolutely shot. Remy LeBeau is currently leading in front of the Italian of Zach Wallace. And then a few seconds further back is Xavier Kubica. And in fact, if we can... Yes, Zach Wallace, look at the state of those softs. If he's not coming in soon, then I don't know what to say. And as you can see, he comes in at half race distance, so he should be able to do a single stop. And in come Kubica and Gallo. They make the turn in for the pits quite late, don't they? So that's going to be a little bit something to note as we head through the rest of this race. There goes U-Cable to P7 in front of Daf Sanchez. Where's Wallace going to come out of the pits? And right behind these guys, here comes Revo. Gets past Ica World and has net second position in this race. In fact, not even second, net third, because Sanchez jumped them. There goes Ica right in front. Brilliant move. Brilliant switchback from the Angolan driver in the number 8. Heading down the hill of this roller coaster of a circuit here in Chile. Remy LeBeau still leading this. With those medium tires, they have to be close to their braking point. And Marcus Nelson in second from Sebastian Ocampo and the Red Devil. Ocampo, I'm just wondering where that spark went. Of course, it's still there sometimes. Like, you can still see Sebastian pull Sebastian race. He's gonna be leading now, I'm pretty sure, because Remy LeBeau and Nelson have both come into the pits. So on lap 8 of 14, Ocampo leads. But for the 2-time World Drivers' Champion recently, it's just not been there. The fact that he's fighting for third in the championship, it's good, but could be better. Ica been passed by Catfish and Revo got passed by Catfish, and it's now in 6th position. Bogdasarov, fastest third sector of anyone. Heading into this race, the gap between first and second between Revo and Catfish was 3 points. As it stands, I think the gap closes to 1. Heading into the final 3 races of Manila, Paris, and Tokyo, which is just wow. For that, Rotak comes in for his first stop. The Swiss driver struggling out there, of course, with the front wing damage from earlier on. On board we go with Revo. He's doing what he can to close in. U-Cable has taken the lead in front of Ocampo, his teammate right behind with the Red Devil, and Ocampo thinks better of it and comes in 23% tire wear. He's going to come out of the pits doing a one-stop, but it's another set of mediums going on. He could have done another set of softs. I guess Andretti just didn't want to risk it. Revo going alongside with the Red Devil. He's gone back past Catfish. Side by side they went, and into third position goes the Italian with tyres that can make it to the end of this race. But then the question becomes, should you try and do it? The Red Devil drops down to 6th. Out of the guys of Revo, Catfish, UK Ball, and this man, Ica World, Ica's probably going to be the one with the safest bet to the end of this race. He was using attack charge on Catfish, and he's been given a second track limits warning. He was trying to go back past the Trackhouse driver, but he was forced off the track and given a track limits warning. And that light blue Trackhouse car, rumours swirling about the livery itself, apparently taking some inspiration from Ross Chastain's Moose car that he drove to P5 in the 2022 X22 500 at Martinsville. 4 laps to go. Here comes Ica as the Red Devil comes in. He's going to send it down the inside and into third position if he can just hold on. Revo's been given a time penalty for colliding with Ica. Side by side these two go. And the Red Devil's going to come out of the pits quite a ways down the order. Still a little bit of barging going on. You can see him heading down the hill there from our helicopter view. And Revo, he may be up into third now, but with that penalty, he would drop to 5th position, which is behind Catfish, crucially for the championship. Actually, currently it would be behind Remy LeBeau. Worst case scenario for Revo is he drops down to 7th currently. And that is still a gap that he can make up. 5th place scores 10 points and 7th place scores 6 points. So swinging the championship would be 4 points and Catfish would lead by a single one. As, UK Ball's come in. Sanchez has come in. Revo leads. Revo is leading. As it stands, this is actually going to be a lot more detrimental to the Italian in the championship, as Babness Jr. and Bob Pissarro both pit. On board we go with the 7 in 7th gear currently. Yes, we may have electric cars, but we do like a gear shift, so we have a gearbox. Looking back with Revo, and you can see how close Catfish is getting. He's got 3 laps to defend or to choose to pit, but look at the difference of those rears. I don't think Revo's going to have the tyres to make it to the end, as Leclerc track limits warning, his first of the day. The race leader has a time penalty. Climbing the seats down at Techeetah. I don't know what to do. I probably should have put him on hard if we were going to do the one stop, but as it stands, it's certainly hard to manage as Ocampo track limits warning. In comes Catfish. He's going to try and do an undercut for the second stop. Zach Wallace has gone past Ica. And in fact, they're still alongside each other on board with Remy LeBeau. He could win this race today if he can manage his mediums well. He actually will be able to make it to the end of this race with those mediums. So one stop is possible for the Frenchman, as Kiro Raceco confirmed to become Jaguar for next season, and Nissan Nismo confirmed to become Apt next season. Of course, this will be an Apt team sponsored by Audi, so officially called Audi Apt Sport. But in terms of their power units, we don't expect them to continue with Nissan. We expect them mainly to either go with Mercedes or Porsche just to keep it with Germans. Maybe they will go for DS, considering their dominance over the past few seasons. As Wallace in front of Remy for now. For the man who leads this race, Revo, we're not focusing on him because whether or not he can make it to the end with those mediums, he's got a time penalty. We're on to the penultimate lap here in Chile, as here comes Remy LeBeau. He's not satisfied with one Italian, he'll go for both of them. Remy LeBeau to the race lead in front of Revo and Zach Wallace. And for the Italian in the 7, I think the best shot that Techeetah have right now is keeping him out there. He's looking down the inside, over the curbs he goes, and he's at 25% tire wear and leading the race. He is struggling out there. If he can make it to the end, it'll be something to behold. because it's not going to be easy. Not at all. Hops over the curb. Remy LeBeau, track limits warning, first of the day. As it would stand, Revo would drop down to 4th position, take 12 points compared to Catfish's 0 for being in 15th. And yet, he and Remy still alongside each other. There's Theo, track limits warning. He's down in 13th. That's his first one after the pit cycle. 18% for Revo. Considering the drop in percentage throughout that lap, he should be around single digits. Once the final lap here in Chile ends, here comes Zach Wallace, covered by Remy LeBeau, who sends it down the inside and takes the lead, and it's Santiago E3. In fact, here comes Wallace on his countryman, side by side, and up into second, Revo conceding the position. And in fact, I don't know if those tyres are going to be able to fight too much longer. And Wallace, he's dropped quite a bit from Remy. Remy LeBeau, who didn't take his customary win in Buenos Aires, versus Theo, track limits warning. A lot of weaving for Revo, but he should be able to make it through the rest of this track fine. Nelson with a track limits warning too. This man, Remy LeBeau, he struggled for quite a bit, and Leclerc's out north. Leclerc in the barriers, he's got a puncture, full car puncture it seems. He spun it, Ocampo involved. And throughout all of this, we're not going to keep our eyes on that. We're keeping our eyes on the Frenchman. Remy LeBeau takes Santiago in front of Zach Wallace, who gets his best career finish. Ica World is third from Revo and Marcus Nelson. But further back, keeping our eyes on these guys, a puncture for Lawless Leclerc has dropped him out of consideration for everything, and in fact, that's just a full car puncture. He went way too long with those tyres. Revo was at risk of that, and Catfish comes across the line in 13th without scoring points. The two-stop, it was a risk that Sims had to make because they thought that Techeetah were going to do the same thing. They did not. They did not, and they benefit even with that time penalty, to the point where the only thing that happens is that their drivers swap around. Nelson will be credited with 4th position. Revo will drop to 5th. Ocampo's time penalty gone, the final lap will not matter. This is the podium. Remy LeBeau gets vengeance from Buenos Aires and continues his streak of consecutive wins in South America with a win here in Chile in front of Zach Wallace and Ica World, the top 3 of some of the most entertaining young guns on the grid. Then it's Marcus Nelson, Revo without time penalty, Kubica, Ukable, Gabo, Gasly, and Sanchez. Then it's versus Theo, Ray Shen, Catfish, Pabnis Jr., Pablo Sierra, Cosmas Medicis, the Red Devil, Bogdasarov, Ocampo, Scuttle and Rossack, Lars Leclerc after that last lap puncture, and Oscar Folstad did not finish. In the driver standings, Revo leads, and he is 17 points ahead of Catfish. Then it's Marcus Nelson, Lars Leclerc, Remy LeBeau, Pierre Gasly, Bogdasarov and Ocampo. Then it's Ica World, Sanchez tied with Theo, Xavier Kubica, Pabnis Jr., Zach Wallace, the Red Devil, Ray Shen, Ukable, Folstad, Sierra tied with Gabo, Medicis and Rossack in the constructors standings, heading into the next round of the championship in Manila. Well, it's an almost done deal to say that Techeetah are going to win the championship in front of Trackhouse Mercedes and DS Andretti. Sims Porsche still with a very good shot at least second in the championship. Then it's Kiro Porsche 1 point off the big 200, then Mercedes EQ, Power Renault, Team Edam's Renault, DS Venturi Formula E team, McLaren Mercedes, and the only team yet to score 100, Nissan Nismo. Well then, the next round in Manila is sure to be an interesting one, but before that, we will head to Barber for the ERL IndyCar Series.